So overnight, apparently late last night, Donald Trump met with Nancy and Chuck. And they hung out. And I guess they basically just said, I don't know, people will like you more if you support DACA. Some type of legislative fix for the executive policy that you rescinded. And he must have said, really? Do you really think they'll like me more? And Chuck and Nancy said, sure, yeah, of course. And he said, well...
Think of how big the propaganda file can get after
wow,
something like
okay.
that.
And then, but what about the wall? Because the wall is really important. It's not important to do. It's important to talk about, like I said to the Mexican president. And they said, well, let's do that separately, and we'll just promise more border security. Big border security? Yeah, big border security. Okay, deal. And here he is announcing it this morning after coming off of a helicopter ride. And just listen to this guy.
The wall will come later. We're right now renovating large sections of wall, massive sections, making it brand new. We're doing a lot of renovation. We're building 4 different samples of the wall to see which one we're going to choose, and the wall is going to be built.
Will you pause it? I mean, it's just amazing. First of all, the guy's lying, right? But aside from that, like, we're building 4 samples of walls. We're going to see which one we like best. What goes with the drapes, which goes with the couch, which goes with the picture. He has to say this. I mean, because we know this from the transcripts of his conversation with the Mexican president. He knows how important the wall is to those guys wearing baseball caps in that stadium in West Virginia, or that, that auditorium in West Virginia. So he's got to pretend he's just lying. And
he's appealing to consumerism too with that. Like, we need to figure out, like it's a showroom of different walls.
Totally. We're not sure if we're going to go with the stalagmite pool, or just like the bluestone.
It's beautiful terracotta.
I mean, a terracotta. We're not sure. So we're going to see all 4. We'll see which one we like the best. So here he is. He's talking about the wall, and then he goes, keep playing.
And the wall is going to be built. It'll be funded a little bit later. Well, we want to get massive border security, and I think that both Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, I think they agree with it. But so we met last night with, as you know, Schumer, Pelosi, and a whole group, and I think we're fairly close, but we have to get massive border security. Oh, I think he's on board. Yeah, Mitch is on board. Paul Ryan's on board. We all feel, look, 92% of the people agree on DACA. But what we want is we want very, very powerful border security, okay?
I think 92% is just a made-up number that he pulled out of...
I feel like we would have known that.
Yeah, I sort of feel like 92% is... That figure is the equivalent of the figure that at the end of the show, when I talk about where our members' revenue comes from, I just pull out a number that's like, it sounds like right, but I have no idea. I've never done the work. And I sort of feel like that's what he's doing for this major piece of legislation that he apparently has decided Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell are on board with, which maybe they are.
They are now.
They are now. Paul Ryan, I think yesterday, had said something to the effect of like, we should have a DACA. And so if all goes well, there'll be massive, huge border funding, whatever that means.
You could just call it the Big League Border Security Act and just send like a few National Guard troops down there.
Exactly. Actually, what's going to happen now is we're just going to spray paint all of their trucks gold. And hopefully this will end up with a DREAM Act, which will go even further than DACA and provide some more permanence. Now, this could fall apart by the time you're listening to this program. If you listen on podcast, it may have fallen apart in just the time that it took for us to play this video. But what it's going to do in the worst case scenario is rip apart the Republican Party in many respects. In the best case scenario, it's going to get a DREAM Act passed and rip apart the Republican Party. We obviously need to see the details because I don't like the idea of having to demonize other immigrants, undocumented or not, to help these dreamers. The reality is, though, from a pragmatic, practical standpoint, we have bad cards to play in this situation. And so hopefully this will work out well. We'll talk more about the conservative response in the fun half of the program. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos